listening to Darling Shine, a podcast by Ellidy and myself, Chloe Fisher.
Join us as we blindly navigate and unpack the raw and often unspoken experiences of womanhood, grief, friendship, and everything in between.
Darling Shine is your survival kit to the unexpected shit life throws at you.
This episode is brought to you by Esme. Esme is a vegan, cruelty-free skin minerals brand.
Esme also offer free worldwide delivery and have given our Darling Shine listeners 20% off using code SHINE20 at checkout. We'll add the link in our show notes and also a swipe up link in our stories. Hi guys, and welcome to this week's episode. Ellidy and I are going to be talking all things spiritual signs. It's no secret that we are really into this. I feel like, I've been into it forever. Ellidy not so much. And I guess as of like the last few years, Ellidy always looks at me, she's like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you like
well, Chloe's crazy, just into crystals now, and I'm like, darling, what the hell? And like now
I've always seen psychics. I've seen many psychics in my time.
Yeah, you actually, okay, so I was never a person that wanted to go and see clairvoyance and figure out what was going to happen in my future, and all the girls would do that and I'd be like, that's so scary. Why do you want to know? Like, I just don't need to know that. It's like how I don't need to know the gender of my baby. Like, I just don't want to know things. Like, it's actually so interesting because I think how cool would it be? No. Imagine if I had gone to a psychic a few years ago and they said, oh, like when you're 28, some fucked up shit's going to happen to your life. Or they like preempted that something was going to happen to Chumpy or me, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting. It would have been interesting to see if someone had have picked that up. But to be honest, I used to not believe any of the shit because I'd be like, it's so broad. It's like when you read a star sign thing and they're like, oh yeah, you're going through a big change in your life. You've got to make a decision. And it's like, yeah, everyone has to fucking make decisions. It could be about what we're doing for lunch today or like something massive, and you can just
Isn't it funny how star signs, like I love reading my star signs and I love all that sort of stuff, but that's one thing I think is a little bit woo-woo.
Yeah.
Like you always be able to find something in your life happening then that's like applies to that.
I don't really believe in those like monthly ones, like this month, the Taurus sign, rah, rah, rah. But sometimes the overall, like the characteristics of certain signs, and then like some of them have like full on split personalities, or like you can either be this type of a Gemini or that type of a Gemini or something. I fully believe in, like I do make sense of those things. And then when they say like, it's funny because my friend looks like Maddie Ralph, she loves star signs, and she was looking into like mine and Chumpy's and like our exact times that we were born and stuff. And like apparently my Taurus, I don't really know everything, so I don't want to sound like an idiot by going into it too much, but whenever I was born and whenever Chump was born, we have other star signs, not just Taurus and Virgo, and like they correlate perfectly. And like, yeah, I think some star signs definitely are meant to get along, and then I definitely know I don't really gel with some particular ones as well. So I find that interesting, but not like those monthly things in like Dolly magazine. It's like, oh, this week Leo, and you're like, shut up. So in general, I never believed in going to see people or finding out about the future, or just I wasn't into spirituality because I never had I didn't have a reason to be. And all of a sudden I was clutching at straws at the start going, what has just happened? You know, Chump's all of a sudden gone, and I was seeing signs and there was things happening all around me and people were pointing out things all the time, and I would have people coming up to me in the street, like literally I'd be at cafes and people would come up and be like, I'm really drawn to your aura. There's green light around you. There's something happening around you. Like literally people would come up and say things like that and talk to me about some sort of presence or energy surrounding me. And it was straight after Chump passed away, and energy just does not lie. And I learned that really quickly. And it's not even about saying like, you know, I see orbs and things all the time, and now I distinguish whether it's like an actual light orb from the sun or whether it's like a real actual orb. But
for a minute there we thought every orb was...
Yeah, we thought every bird and every orb and every whale or every wave that crashed was Chumpy because, you know, we wanted to. But now it's just this knowing, like my mum still says to me like, oh, what signs have you been getting lately? And I'm like, I these things pop up all the time, and I'll be with people, but I don't even say it out loud anymore. I just go in my head, hello, chump, like, you're there. I love you. I just know that whatever I just saw or whatever I just felt was a sign, and I do not question it. You know when you go with your gut, what you know is what you know, and you just believe it to be true, and you don't. I used to try and be like, oh my God, but look at this, right, and try and convince people almost. And now
when my grandma passed away in Bali after my wedding, I was like on the way to the hospital, and I still believe at this time it was like 10:50 or whatever, and then we got there and she literally passed away so soon after we got to the hospital. We all pretty much saw it all happen, and I still believe to this day that like her time of death was 11/11. And I actually got it tattooed on my wrist while we're in Bali. And I often, whenever I'm feeling lost, will be like, hey, if you're up there and you're looking out for me, can you show me a sign? And that day I will see 11/11 on, like, I'll see it on either on my phone or on like the car radio or something like that, both times, like 11/11 in the morning, 11/11 at night. And I'm like, wow, that for me, those signs are real.
I know. I love the 11/11 ones. Sometimes I think that I see 11/11 all the time because I'm always on my fucking phone all the time. Or sometimes something really cool will happen at 11/11. Like when I was selling my van last week, the lady messaged me at 11/11 about coming to pick it up, and she said like she was spiritual, and she was like, this just feels right and stuff. And she sent me like one of the messages when we were negotiating stuff. It came in at 11/11. It was kind of like her signing, like saying, I'm going to come, I'm going to get it, like it's happening, just transferred the deposit kind of thing. And it came in at 11/11, and she'd already told me she was spiritual. And I was like, see, that shit's just that. I can't ignore that.
11/11 is 100% a recurring number for me, and apparently meant to mean that you're on the right track. But I don't know.
Yeah. Oh no, I believe that one for sure. And I think I've experienced this so much, and I don't like, again, I barely talk about it anymore. I just don't even need to tell anyone because I just have this such a strong knowing, like I just know it to be true. But my blood runs warm. I'll get goosebumps, and I will just all of a sudden know Chump's right here. And it happens all the time. I'll be with someone, or I'll be alone, or I'll be wherever, or I'll be at home. Like, it doesn't matter where or when or what I'm around, whether I'm in nature or not. And I just know he's right there. And sometimes I'll honestly feel that he's not there, and I'll be like, he's just not with me right now. But sometimes I'll just have this overwhelming like power or energy around me, and I just absolutely know. And there's just no doubt in my mind. And I don't even need to talk about it or tell anyone. It's just like a knowing now, which is really cool. I've just learnt so much. Like I've just like, I'm way more in tune. I never used to. Chump used to always talk about energies and like, oh, I didn't feel that person. Like, you know, they had a bad feeling about them, and I'd be like, what the fuck? They seem nice. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, he was very vibey with like sensing. You know, always been like in tune with how someone or something makes him feel. And I'm doing that now. I'm very, very in tune now. Like I think about I feel everything out. I'm not just like, I'm way more observant and like in touch these days, which I'm just loving.
So you don't feel like he's at your house more so than being outdoor?
I definitely feel like whenever I'm at home, particularly in my room, like places where I feel really calm and safe is when I feel like he's with me. But yeah, often when I'm at the beach or just out in nature doing things, I just feel he's around me, or I just feel like I'm being guided. I just feel like I'm doing the right thing. Like sometimes if I'm having so much fun or doing something fun that and like part of me could sometimes be like, oh, why am I doing this? Like I feel guilty. How come he's gone and I'm living and I'm actually having a genuine laugh right now and things like that. I'll all of a sudden feel like, no, he's happy for me. He wants this. He's with me. He's guiding this. Yeah. Like I know he would be. He doesn't want me sitting at home fucking crying all the time. Like I need to have my breaks. I need to have my balance. It's healthy to grieve and it's healthy to live like through your grief.
can you give us some like specific examples of when you've felt his presence, or people that like have told you that they've felt or dreamt or
okay, oh god, there's so many. Okay, one that happened the other day which I loved, and I don't think I've actually told you this one, Chloe. So Chump's parents have been in town. They're not overly like spiritual, or like kind of like I was before, just, you know, didn't have to think about it, didn't care about it, so not super open about this stuff. So I'm always trying to say to Chump's dad, like, he's with us, and Chump's dad's like, I hope he is. I don't know if he is, but like you know, hopefully. I'm like, he is, I promise. Anyway, so it was his birthday the other day, Chump's dad's birthday, so Chris's birthday. We were driving back from Cabarita we're driving from Cabba to Casuarina. There's like this road. And it was Chris's birthday, and Em, Chump's sister, called up on the phone, and we were all talking in the car to Em. And then all of a sudden, Chris pulls over and he's like, oh, I've just got to run back and grab something. There's something glimmering in the middle of the road, which is so random. I thought he was picking up some litter to put it in the bin. So pulled over on, like, we're on like not a highway, but like a fast street. Quickly pulls over while we were talking to Em on the phone. And she's like, happy birthday, Dad. Pull over, and he runs out and comes back with an axe that he picked up from the middle of the road, like a tomahawk axe thing. And I'll just explain. Tattooed? Yeah, so Chump has an axe tattooed on his ribs, like a big axe on his chest. He actually, an axe is a symbol for him. Like, he loves the Vikings, and he channels that when he snowboards, like when he's competing. And an axe is like a real symbol of like battle and perseverance for Chump. And he just takes on that energy. So he got an axe tattooed on his ribs, and he also...
That is so wild.
Literally, we have an axe in the garage that he carved out with his dad last February. And he made his own axe, and it's really pretty, and it's hung up in our garage and stuff. And so Chris took this axe, and he's going to go home and do the same thing with it, like polish it up and carve it out and make it look really pretty. But
so what did he think after that?
So he came back to the car and just hopped in and kept driving. And I was like, wow, what the fuck? He just found an axe. Like, that's nuts. That's a sign. And it wasn't, I mean, I didn't go on and on about it. I wasn't like, guys, that was massive. Like, I think that was a really big sign.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think we did talk, like we talked about it, and that day after, like, you know, on the phone with Em, and then later on during the week, like, kept kind of bringing that moment up, and they were kind of like, yeah, like, that is crazy. Like, what are the chances? Like, literally, it could have been a knife or a piece of rubbish or like a little glimmery sardine on the road or something. Like, that's not a sign. I don't know what is.
That is so hectic. So did he bring the axe down to Eden?
Yeah, so now, I know, it's intense. So now Chris has the axe, and he's bringing it down to Eden, and he's going to like carve it up and make like the same kind of axe that Chumpy made with his dad last time he was in Eden, like last Feb. So just a few months before.
It was like a gift sent from an angel.
Literally a Chumpy angel. You better believe it. No, honestly, and other signs that I've been getting smells have, lots of people said to me when Chump first passed away, smells are a really strong smells are a really strong sign from spirits. Keep your nose out for smells. And
it out.
Oh, fuck. So I was like, I'm not getting these smells, but lately I'll be like lying in bed, and I'll just wake up in the morning, and I'll smell like a waft of Chump's cologne. And it really baffles me, the smells one, because I know that I am 100% not physically smelling his cologne. It's actually not possible. But what is clearly happening is he's planting in my brain like this scent, and I'm like imagining this smell or something just ever so randomly. Like, I'll just literally be like, oh my God, I can smell his cologne. And then it goes, and then as soon as I realize, it kind of goes away, and I'm like going, oh yeah, where is it? But I realize he's just sent me like this reminder that he's always there. That's literally what it is, because there's obviously no smell. That's not possible. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not. Yeah. But he's putting the smell in my head, or however it works. And it's just like the biggest reminder that he is just right there, like right with me. Oh. And another massive one that's been happening lately, which I love, because and this keeps happening. like all the time. People that know me, like good friends, like Lucy messaged me the other day and was like, I just woke up and had this dream about Chump. And I've had this recently from April and Luke Munro. A bunch of our friends are always like, I had this dream about Chump. But then also a bunch of strangers always message me on Instagram being like, I know this is so weird. I don't know you, but I've just had this dream about Chump last night. And the dream goes, it's always basically the same.
Hey. What?
Yeah, it's always basically the same dream. I'm honestly not kidding you. So he's always either at the beach or on a rock at a waterfall or something, or at the beach on a rock. And he's either got a guitar or doesn't. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. So yeah, it's always the same setting. Like he's in nature and he's always really calm and doing this chuckle, and it's just amazing.
Chuckle.
Yeah, like this chumpy chuckle, like a bit like yeah. So Lucy was like, I went up and I was like, Chump, where, what? Oh my God, how are you? Where have you been? And this same thing happened to Amanda Johnson recently too. Like this, honestly, Lucy and Amanda told me like the exact story, and I was like, I believe this. Like they're not making this shit up. They don't even know each other, those two. And they're like, Chump, are you okay? Where have you been? What's been happening? And he's just like kind of this really lighthearted, really easygoing energy. And he's just like, I'm fine. Honestly, I'm all good. Like, and he's just got this really pure calmness about him. And they're like, come on, Chump, like come back. And he's just kind of doing this chuckle, and he's just in so much at ease kind of. And he's just like, I can't, but I'm right here. I'm right here with you, but I can't come with you physically, but I'm here. And that's basically the overall message. And it's funny, like last April was saying how he said something like, I've been surfing heaps and I'm getting really good. Like I've been really working on like certain, I don't know, something like certain things about surfing, or my surfing's really improving or something, which is such like a thing Chump would say. Like most guys would be like, oh, I've just been surfing heaps, it's been ripping. But Chump is very much like, yeah, like very much analysing certain things about like, I don't know, that turn or, you know. And it was funny that when she messaged me saying that, I was like, that is such a thing he would say. But no, so the gist of it goes, he's in nature, he's either got a guitar or doesn't, which is great because I just can't see him any other way. And he's just doing this lighthearted chuckle, and I know the exact laugh that he'd be doing, just really easy going, it's okay, don't worry about me kind of thing. And saying he's right there with us, and I just believe it through and through. Funnily enough, I don't have, I think I dream all the time, but I don't wake up and remember them, and I've never been that kind of person. I don't know if I already told this part, but when I was in Yamba, I woke up on the last day we were in Yamba around my birthday, and I woke up and I just instantly wanted to call Chump in the morning. And then I went to call him. This is just recently. So like I just woke up and I was like, oh, Chump, we've got to talk to him. And I realized I was just with him, and I was trying to like quickly, because I just pretty much opened my eyes in the morning, I was trying to quickly grab the memories that I'd just been having, because I'd obviously just come out of a dream where I was with him. And it was just all escaping me so quickly, like to the point where, I couldn't remember a thing, but I just knew I was just with him in my dreams. So sometimes I'll get that, but I don't remember specifics about dreams. Like I've never been one of those people that remembers dreams, but I have no doubt that I'm 24/7 dreaming of him. But no, when other people tell me about their dreams and they're all the same, it makes my heart warm and fuzzy. And the fact that he's in peace in everyone's dream. Like imagine if I was hearing dreams, oh, Chump seems stressed or he seems sad, or, you know, I'd just fucking die. So he seems like he's very calm, good energy about him, and looking after us, and he seems very close to us.
I know that also Chris Eneva had an experience on the way to the actual funeral. Do you want to talk us through that?
How weird was that? Okay. So pretty much Chris Eneva, our good mate, was kind of like the MC of the funeral that day. So like what the priest would have been doing if, like, I don't know, the person who ran the funeral. And him and Laura and Karina and Jake, so 4 of our good friends, were on the way to the funeral from Byron Bay. They reckon they hopped in a cab at 11:11, and the Uber driver told them this later. They were like, I don't know how to tell this story. So anyway, so they hopped in this cab, and then a few minutes later, Chris Eneva's like looking out the window being like, because he was a bit nervous, you know, about the day he's about to run the whole funeral. And he was like, in his head, come on, like, Chump, like, let's get through this day, like, give me a sign kind of thing. He's not spiritual, like, at all. And the Uber driver suddenly goes, hey, guys, I know this is weird. I'm an Uber driver, but I'm also a psychic medium, and there's a spirit in the car with us right now. And they were like,
hearing his story again.
I know, how weird is it? Yeah, and they were like, oh, wow, okay, tell us about it. And he goes, I knew I had to pick you guys up. I saw it come in at 11:11. I thought I have to go pick these guys up. He goes, there's a really strong presence in the car, and he's saying good luck, and thank you, and everything's going to be okay. And the Uber driver's like, why is this person saying good luck? Like, where are you guys off to today? And then it was like, we're going to his funeral, and I'm the MC, so he's obviously giving me good luck. And then, yeah, the guy was saying he's at peace. I think he passed away in the ocean, something like that. And then there was not too much more. And basically when they pulled up at the funeral, the Enova and Karina and Jake and Laura got out of the car, and I must have pulled up with Chump's family, like right next to the Uber driver, and the Uber driver must have been waiting to see if he could get another ride, or he was just sitting in the car. And he called Enova back the next day and said, when you guys hopped out of the car, I stayed in the car, like, you know, just fucking around in the car, just waiting. And this girl got out wearing all white and of the car next to me, and that was me. And he said, the spirit in the car said, that's my partner and that's my dog, and I'll be talking to everyone today at the funeral through Rummy, my dog. So he gave us that knowledge the next day, which was crazy, because at the funeral, I hope this makes sense what I'm saying. I feel like I'm not telling the story very good, but at the funeral, Rummy was like, honestly, do you remember her? Like she was running up to every, like, she was not normal, like, Rummy.
Running around in with everyone. Like, she wasn't like, just not that she like didn't want to be by your side. She was like with everyone that she could be with. Like, it was crazy. It was weird. It was like erratic behavior.
Usually Rummy's like really calm, by my feet, barely moves, not overly social. But like whoever would be up on stage, if they were like saying a eulogy and like crying, Rummy would run up and jump up on them. And then he went and she went and she ran up to Baden after he played and doesn't know Baden at all, and said thanks to Baden, like jumped on him, and yeah, just things like that. And Rummy's always, I'm seeing that Rummy's always like channeling Chump. I think like she'll randomly just be looking into thin air sometimes, and me and Mum will be like, what's she staring at? We can't get her attention, and she's fixated on something invisible right in front of her, and I'm just like, I know Chump's there. And like little things.
Wild. I'm like so intrigued by people that are able to work with spirits and stuff like that. Like, I just actually I'm so open to it, and like I want to learn so much about it. Like, I wish that I had those powers. I actually started this course in Brisbane, a healing course, and I didn't get to finish it because I came over to the States. But basically I had this like encounter with Chumpy as well, which was the first time I've ever actually had like a spirit encounter. And it was like a 2-day workshop, and we were learning our like Reiki and Ashati and like a few different energy like healing things. I'm sorry, I can't explain it because I didn't finish the course, so I didn't really know how to talk about it. But basically on the day we had to go through this meditation, and basically they like guided us through. I did a whole day at the start, didn't really feel that much. There was other people in the room that were like, wow, that was so moving. I like felt this, whereas I was just like, yeah, I didn't really feel much. And then the second day we went into this meditation, basically we had to close our eyes, and they guided us down like these stairs, and we're in this like garden, and we were like all these different things. And then they basically like, you're going to go through this door, and like it's going to bring up a lot of traumas and stuff like that.
Wow.
And basically when I went in, it was black for me. It was completely black. Like, I saw nothing. And then all of a sudden I saw all these timepieces and clocks and watches and stuff. And I was like, what the fuck? This is so bizarre. Anyway, then the person that was guiding us through was like, we want you to call in spirits now. And before I had even got the opportunity to call specifically to Chumpy, I'm not lying here. He was literally sitting in front of me. And I called Elle as soon as I walked out of this because I was so tripped out by it. But yeah, he was talking to me. It was my voice, but it was him. Like I wasn't, what I was saying to myself wasn't coming out of my brain or out of my mouth. I actually haven't told anyone this. I've only told you this. Yeah, so it was coming out of my mouth, but it was his words. And he was basically, like you said, telling me that like he's okay and he's in a good place. Like he obviously would prefer to be here, but like he's not in any sort of pain. And then he went on to say, like, he wanted me to, like, really look after you and the baby. And, like, he's so excited. Like, we just had this full fucking conversation, and it makes me, like, feel like I'm going to cry just thinking about it because it was so unbelievably real. And I'm really devastated that I didn't actually get to finish this course because obviously it's like, you know, you some people are born with it, but some people I think that you can learn about, like, different spirit, like, activations, and which is where I was going down that track. And it was just so unbelievably interesting, and it was so devastating to have to leave that like room that I was in essentially and leave him there. It was just so bizarre.
I remember that.
So I'm such a believer in all this stuff, and I know some people don't believe, but like I think it's just a matter of being so open to it. Like, and some people are so talented at what they do, like that driver. That story still blows me away though.
I honestly still can't believe it. And for that was like one of the first massive ones, because that was like 2 weeks after he passed away, and that was just like a huge, for me, I was just like, okay, I literally can't ignore this stuff. Like that is so real. It's not me thinking up a thing in my head and saying it. It's like my friends telling me. I fully am there with you because I experienced something like that. And like up until then, I actually had never experienced anything like that. Like I'm always open to everything, but that was like, I can't explain it. It was legitimately, I could see him in front of my face. It was so wild. And he was talking to me. Yeah. So you also did you got a sign. Well, he actually sent a sign to one of our friends called Avalon. Do you want to tell that story of the song?
Just a quick word from our sponsor, Esme. One thing we love is that they have a full team of skin service specialists that you can chat to online or via DM on Instagram. Here, you can nut out your skin concerns, send photos, and receive expert advice to start your journey to healthier skin.
Also, don't forget, Esme are offering our listeners 20% off using code SHINE20 in capitals at checkout. And I personally love and have used for years the blue hyaluronic hydrating serum, and Chloe's favourite, and she's spoken about this before on the podcast, is the minty green smoothie, the anti-redness serum. It's like this bright green serum and it diffuses any redness on your face. So she loves that, but I love the hyaluronic acid serum. Stunning. Enjoy your discount. That was crazy. And actually, funnily enough, so I'll tell the story about the song first. So one of my good friends, so Avalon's actually my doula. She's lovely. She's going to be my doula at birth. And I didn't know this yet, but one of our mutual friends reached out and said, you really have to talk to this girl. She's in Burleigh and she's got a message for you. And I called her straight away and I was like, hey, don't know you, but apparently you've got a message for me. She was like, yes, come here right now. I hope I haven't already told this story on the podcast. But so I went over to her house and she said, look, there's been this spirit that's been on my back for months and I've been trying to ignore it because when I'm not working, I don't want to be bothered. Like she's like, I've got a few kids, I've got a family, like I'm actually really busy. If I'm working and being, you know, with a client, I'll channel someone or I'll get messages. But it's annoying when spirits come at me and she blocks them out. But she was like, this one was so persistent and like a really lovely spirit, but just really strong, and she just couldn't ignore him. So she just kind of let him come in, and he basically over time was writing this song and all these. She's not a poet, she's not a writer, she's not a lyricist, she's not a musician at all. But all these lyrics kept coming into her head, so she started writing them down, and it was happening over a few weeks, and eventually she was getting frustrated because the song kept slightly changing, and it's so like Chumpy to he's such a perfectionist. It's so like him to be like, tweaking little things for ages and like, you know. So then one day she was like, all right, mate, let's sit down. I'll give you half an hour. Let's smash this song out. Like, get it down. Let's go, because I can't just keep coming in and out of this connection with you. Like, let's just get this out of the way and I'll give it to the person that you want to give it to. She figured out, I think, through our mutual friend, figured out that it must have been for me. And it's so funny because the Avalon she's not a singer, she's not a musician at all, but she wrote this whole song down. It's such Chumpy kind of words and like the tune. Yeah, anyway, it's crazy because she actually sung it in an audio note to me and she was so embarrassed. She was like, I can't sing, but like I need you to know the riff, like the tune. Yeah. So here it is. And whoa, it was such a Chumpy kind of song. And the words were like very, I think I want to maybe keep it private, but it was about a new baby coming into the world, and there was like, it was saying how he's all around me and there's things in my tummy, like butterflies in my tummy. And it was when I just fallen pregnant, was just going through my second round of IVF. And the riff is just such a Chumpy tune. Like, yeah, I need to actually get it.
When you read it to me, I was like, I got goosebumps. Like, there's no second guessing that one. There's like no doubt in my mind that wasn't written, and like, that wasn't him. Like, that was him 100%.
The song was very in line with his other music, and Avalon had no idea he was a musician. And I was like, yeah, like all of his other
paragraphs are like short and sweet.
Yeah, it was very much like just completely written solely by Chump, and it was so real. I couldn't believe it. Avalon's like, I've never written a song or a poem. Like, I couldn't just think of these lyrics. I couldn't make them up. And yeah, so that was honestly wild. Anyway, so I went home and I was like, Mum, this is when Mum was living at my house. I was like, listen to what just happened. And Mum was a little bit like, oh, I don't understand why you get these signs from other people. Why can't he just send the song to you and you get the song? And, you know, it's annoying that he has to go through other people kind of thing. Like, and I was like, yeah, I know. Like, I wish I was maybe more psychic or something. But then I think I spoke to someone about this, and I was like, I wish I could channel him like really strongly and get these direct messages just straight away to me, so there's no middlemen. And I forget who I was talking to. It actually might have been Avalon. And she was saying, yeah, but imagine if I just said to you, Chloe, oh, Chump just wrote me a song, like I got it in my head last night. Like, yeah, here it is. I've written it down. You'd be like, mate, you've gone bonkers. Like, no. Yeah. You're just making this shit up. And I think a lot of the time, apparently with psychics, and I've heard this a bunch of times with mediums, if a loved one of a medium dies, apparently they'll often send messages to other people. They won't go directly to that person.
Really?
Yeah, funnily enough. And I don't know if it's so that it's more real, like, or just so it's not like they don't think they're going mad, or just, I don't know if that's how the spirits work. They kind of go through other people, or they go to people that they know will get the message across. There's something just so amazing when someone calls you and he's like, you have to speak to this person. They've got a message for you. I'm just like, I love it. And I also get, I
know.
It's funny because at the start, before I was pregnant, but I did have the sperm, so I did know I was going to try to make this happen. I was getting messages from strangers who were really touched by my story, and lots of them were like, I know this is so random, but I've just had a dream about you and you're with a baby in the dream, or I've had a dream with Chumpy and this baby or something like that. And obviously I wouldn't go back and tell them like what my plans were, but yeah, it's just so weird. I just believe
people.
Yeah, for sure. So the dream thing's massive. But that song one just honestly blew my socks off. I could not believe it. I actually need to get Chump's sister's a musician as well. She's amazing. Or her voice is incredible. So I really should get her to like recreate that song that Avalon got from Chump.
That'd be good.
That'd be really cool. But yeah, so from your grandma, Chloe, you've had little things here and there.
Yeah, I mean, I like going again with that psychic kind of experience. Well, not psychic, sorry, the healing course that I did reach out to her as well, and she came to me. And I mean, look, both of them told me that they were in a good place and that they were okay, and like that sort, you know, that sort of stuff. But I've seen like my grandma in like little bits and pieces passing. Like I actually had a session with Avalon one day after Ellidy had seen her, and she connects to spirit babies. Basically, I went in and I had this session and I laid there and she lit incense and candles and crystals and chanted and did all this stuff, and she guided me through. Basically, she talks you through what she's seen, and like she doesn't know anything about me really. And basically she saw a little girl, but when we went through, she taught me through, we went through like this like jungle basically, and she was like, you're a warrior. And I was just like imagining myself like Tarzan and Jane, like walking through the jungle, like as like, she's like, no, you're an actual full-on warrior. And like, so, and then I got to this tree, and basically at the base of this tree, my grandma was, she's like, there's this old woman there, have you like lost a, like basically my grandma. I had no doubt that it wasn't her. And she said, and in her hands is a little baby girl. And I had to go over there, and like this is just me kind of laying there and imagining what she's telling me, and it was so real. Like I got my little baby out of her arms, and like I held her and I nurtured her and I loved her, and then we like went out into this field, and like she's like, she wants you to pick her some sunflowers, and like then she kind of like grew up to like a child. And I was so connected to this baby. It was just so insane what I was getting from this session. And then it was probably about an hour long. And then at the end, Avalon was like, it's time to leave. Like, you need to leave her now. And it was just heavy. I just remember like crying, like just so upset, because I was like, I don't want to leave her. Like she's, and then, but yeah, my grandma was very much a part of that. And I truly believe like she's around me. Like the 11-11 thing is massive for me. When we fell pregnant after my wedding, she then passed away, and then I ended up having a miscarriage, and it was all around her funeral. And I feel like that first baby that I lost was 100% up there with her. And then this second baby that I lost, it was pretty much on her birthday, which is crazy. Well, then the other one, the IUI that I lost, was at her year passing. And then the latest miscarriage I had was on her birthday. So there's so much weird connection with my grandmother, and I often ask for her, and I ask for Chumpy to send me signs, and majority of the time it will come through as 11-11 to me.
I think that's so beautiful. And what we know for sure is we get warm, relaxed signs from Chumpy and Grandma, and there's no doubt that the babies that you've lost are with Grandma, and she's looking after them, and Chumpy for sure.
We often ask,
all too correlated.
We often ask them both to help me with this baby situation, but they're busy at the moment, I think. Maybe
they're a bit greedy, and they're just like, no, we want the babies here.
Yeah, fully. I know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm very much at the moment. I even said to Ellidy the other day, oh, actually, I had a session with this psychic called Psychic Fatini, and she's on all over Instagram. A lot of people have like sent me her details. But I actually did have a session with her a few months back. Anyway, basically what she does these remote cleanses. So she doesn't have to be with you, but she does them for houses that can't sell and like all this different stuff. So she did a pregnancy cleanse for me, and it was so crazy because she's actually done 2 for me now. The first one she did, I was with you at your house, and I was like, I felt my energy being like literally sucked out of my body. Like I didn't know what time of the day she was doing. I didn't know anything about it, but she sends you like a little photo of like this little thing. I don't know. It's like a little silver thing, and then she writes your name on it, and then she burns this stuff. I'm not really sure. I don't really understand it, but basically it created a shift. And then I guess maybe a month later, she's like, I want to do a follow-up one. So we did another follow-up one, but she didn't even tell me that she was doing this one. And I hit her up this one day, and I was like, oh my God, I feel so mentally and emotionally drained. Like has anything happened from your end? Like, do you feel anything? She's like, oh, I actually did another cleanse for you yesterday, which was crazy because I literally felt it without even knowing that she was doing it. And then I got on and I had a reading from her, and we did like a full reading where she like pulls cards and everything like that as well. And she said a lot of things that 100%, like I didn't tell her anything, like a lot of things that were 100% true. And then she also made a prediction that I was going to be pregnant within 2 months and it was going to be a boy. Whoa, I actually fully forgot that it was going to be a boy. Okay, so yeah, it was going to be a boy. And this is when I had just done a round of IVF around that time when she was doing the reading. And so when just before I fell pregnant the most recent time, I was saying to Ellie, I'm like, this is all bullshit. Like, it's like 2 months is a pretty specific number. Yeah. Like, to give someone that's been struggling to conceive a specific window of 2 months, that's pretty crazy. So she gave me a 2-month window, and it was probably approaching the end of the 2 months, maybe like 2 days out, found out that I was pregnant.
And now we've recently found out it was a boy.
Now we've recently found out it was a boy. So
wow.
I'm obviously still not pregnant, but she fully predicted that. And that's what I said to Paul. I was like, that's a pretty big call to tell someone that they're in 2 months. Like,
yeah.
So I actually said to Ellidy the other day, I really want to get on and I want to have another reading, or I want to see another psychic, because I'm in like a bit of a weird place at the moment and I just need a little bit of clarity. I need to see some light at the end of the tunnel. I want someone to like a bit of reassurance. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to try and get onto another psychic.
There'd be some cool people in LA, or like that you could see for sure. There'd be some crazy woo-woo people over there.
I definitely want to get into doing I want to like go do like a ritual, or like do some like go do like I'm not going to go and like take that weird shit in the jungle. Like, I'm not going to do that.
Dying when I'm not pregnant or breastfeeding one day. I'm dying to go and get into some sort of plant medicine or psychedelic and just have a little trip out with Chump.
I don't think it's not really what I don't know. I want to have an experience. I don't really know what that experience is, but like that's like my next step. Like, I need to like tap into some other sort of like.
Apparently you might be gone for 5 minutes, but you feel like you're gone for like a weekend, and you're just in like having this adventure, like with like, hopefully I could just go and have this adventure with Chump. Like, he could just take me on this full on adventure, and I feel like I'm gone for days and we're just together being us again, and it's just the best. Just gallivanting. Did you end up
watching that? Did you watch that group episode?
Yeah. It was really cool. Yeah.
Of the scary.
Yeah, I know, nuts. So I want to do something like that, but like, when the time is right and safely, everyone. Do not try this at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a safe environment. You have to get a good, like a mentor to, to coach you through it, and like do a special ritual and everyone here. So just to preface that.
I'm not going to go out and just like make it up myself.
You know what's cool though? I love when I hear this. So Lottie and I are always talking like about how we think our boys are together, and me and her just connect so well. I'm always just like, whenever we talk, I'm always like, oh my God, how the fuck are we such close friends and we're both going through this? Like, I don't understand how this has happened to both of our lives. And then I realized we've actually met since, like, I forget that we've only just really met, and we're now bonding because we're both widows and we're both in the same position. Because I feel like we've known each other for years. I feel like I look at Ben and I look at Chumpy and I feel like they've known each other for years, and that we've all been like this little awesome foursome together. So I feel like we've for sure been together in past lives, like us four just all being friends. Yeah. Lottie photoshopped us four into like a photo together, and it looked so real. I was like, oh my God, how fun was that holiday? We look like we're having a hell time. Like, literally it just seemed so, real. But no, I asked Avalon last time I was with her, I said, is Chumpy with anyone? Like, who is Chumpy with? And she said, he's with a curly, really thick curly brown hair guy, and Ben has like thick curly brown locks, like Hagrid hair. And I went and told Lottie that, and then next time she saw Rebecca, you remember Rebecca, who we've both seen? She is by Becky, if you're listening, get us in, please. We're sick of the waiting list. I know I keep recommending people, like widows and stuff, or widowers that contact me. I'm like, you have to see Rebecca. And they come back to me and they're like, mate, Rebecca doesn't have a spot until next December.
I just booked it in anyway.
Yeah, you just got to book it in and go on her wait list. But I won't even give out Rebecca's number because she's obviously way too, like, she's over it. She's too booked up. Imagine how drained she'd be. Like, you just constantly.
That's Rebecca's the one that, I saw Rebecca maybe because my mum used to work for Rebecca before you even knew who she was. Like,
how funny
maybe
is that?
like 10 years ago. And I had this session with Rebecca when just before or just when I had met Paul. It was probably around this time, maybe like 9 or 10 years ago. And I was like, am I going to, like, what's the go, like, with this new guy? Like, and she literally said to me, she said, you're going to end up getting married to this person. You're going to have homes all over the world. You're going to travel. Like, you're not going to be in one position, like, for long. Like, you're literally going to be all around the world.
I remember she said something to you like, he's going to be a star. And so you were thinking like a footy player or a.
Yeah, like, he literally was a surfer at the time. Yeah. He wasn't even DJing. And so she's like, I just can't quite put like, he's going to be a personality. Like, he's going to be something, but I just can't. She couldn't put her finger on the DJ because he hadn't even thought about that himself yet. But yeah, it was like, crazy. It was weird because now looking at it now, I'm like, no, I don't live in one spot. I live all over the world. And like that's now, it's wild. But that's the same Rebecca as Ellidy saw.
Beck's amazing.
And it just is a coincidence.
Becky. Yeah, so Lottie, then I got Lottie to see Rebecca over FaceTime, and she said to Rebecca, I don't know if it was Rebecca or not. Anyway, Rebecca didn't know that Lottie and me were friends. Lottie contacted Rebecca separately, and she said, who's Ben with? And she replied saying, she was trying to say, she said, like, he's with a guy called Alice or Alex, or she was trying to say Alex, or she did end up saying Alex, and she just guessed Alex. And it's funny because no one calls him Alex. Like, because I'm always a bit skeptical when I hear, like, I'm like, oh, well, she could have found your Instagram and figured out we're friends and then guessed Chumpy or something. But to say Alex was just so, like, 100% no doubt. Like, who the hell guesses Alex? Like, no one even knows that that's his name, you know?
Yeah,
so
that's crazy. I
love knowing that the boys are together because they would just get along so well. I just feel like I could go on and on forever. There's story after story here. I need to write them all down. It's funny how I need to have a list, but anyway, I'm just thinking of new ones. But Maddie Owens our friend Maddie Owens from school had a dream exactly a week before Chump's accident, that what happened to him happened in her dream. And I only heard about this after, but apparently that morning, a week before, she woke up frantically going, why did I just have a dream that Chumpy just died and it was in the ocean? And essentially the exact same thing that happened to him happened in her dream a week earlier. And she quickly went on Instagram, checked my stories and stuff, and I had just posted stuff about me and Chump. And so she was like, oh, thank God he's alive and he's fine. Like, wow, that was the craziest dream ever. And then for like a week later for that exact thing to happen, I just absolutely crazy. And I can't speak for that, honestly, because it's hard for me to fathom or to say out loud that maybe this was somehow always going to happen or meant to happen, or I don't know. I hate to think that way, but maybe there is something about predestiny, and not that he knew he was going to go, or, you know, maybe he was always going to go early in life or something. Like, they do say legends die young, and yeah, he seems to be such a strong spirit up there. And I actually don't, now that I've realized it and had my own experiences with it, I actually don't expect anything less from him, because he was such a strong, massive presence in real life that now that he's gone, I feel him right beside me all the time, and he comes through so strong. I shouldn't really be confused. I have to keep reminding myself, like, of course he is. Like, he was Chumpy. Like, yeah, of course he's going to come through like that crazy strong angel that he was.
It's pretty crazy.
So yeah, it definitely gives me a lot of comfort. And I don't know.
It's relatable.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, I talk about this with Lottie, and it's so true. Like, if you're going through something massive like this, how come you wouldn't allow yourself to be open to things like this, or at least just let it in a little bit and see what happens? Like, I actually can't ignore it if I tried. I didn't try to ignore it, but I'm quite realistic, but I couldn't ignore it if I tried because the signs are so prevalent. And I'd be stupid. I'd be so ignorant to just be like, oh, shut up. No, that Uber ride didn't happen. Like you guys, like every little thing that people are telling me. So the fact that I believe it and the fact that I just have this knowing that he's around me gives me so much comfort, and I just feel guided, and I just feel it makes me feel so much stronger, and I know I'm going to survive, and I know I'm going to be like okay. And I feel weird even saying, oh, I'm going to be okay. Like I don't know how I shouldn't be okay. How can I live without him kind of thing. But I just have this overwhelming sense of I just knowing. And it's because I just believe and I know that he's around me.
Yeah. Well, I guess that like brings us to like, before we wrap up, I just wanted to I wanted to talk about a bit of an update with your grief and with the bubba and like how you're feeling and how you're feeling post the 1 year.
I think where I'm at now is, I feel like I'm nesting. I'm so excited about Bubba Chump to come. I am very aware that in having our baby and fulfilling our dream and doing what we always wanted to do, that I am adding like more levels, obviously like so much happiness to come because this is my life now. Like this is going to be the best thing I've ever done. But also I know I'm adding so many extra elements around grief, like things that I will then have to go through. Like it's not just like, I can never just dust my hands off this. Okay, Chumpy's gone now. I'm over it. I'm okay. Like that will just never happen. No. I'm having a baby, which is going to be the most beautiful thing ever, and bittersweet in that it's always going to create more trauma here and there. Like, the first moment's Bub's coming into the world. Just imagine. I can't imagine.
Thinking about it over and over and over again. I always say to Paul, like, do you know what, like, is going to go down in there? Like, that is just those moments and that energy and that what's going to happen in that room where you give birth to the baby. Yeah. It's like,
finally gonna get to hold our little egg.
It's like gives me like goosebumps thinking about those moments and like finding out the sex of the baby, and like it's crazy. Like I'm so excited for you.
Can't believe I'm finally gonna get to hold the little egg in my arms, and it's just like gonna be the best moment in the world and the moment that we've been hoping for, and he's not gonna be there, and that moment and just bringing the bub up. And so every day crazy. I go to the beach and I see guys walking along the beach with their chicks, and the guy's carrying the baby in the thing on his chest, and the girl's got the dog or whatever. And Chum and I always used to walk along the beach and see that, and he'd be like, I can't wait to have the bub like in a little cocoon in my little like your little ergo baby thingy. And I'm just like, yeah, like you'll be that fucking hot. I can't wait for you to have our kid. And like also Rummy and like just like all the shit, like all the little fluffies and babies hanging off you. And it's hard. Like, I mean, it's like when you see a pregnant person, Chloe, when I see a dad with a baby, it fucking kills me. And it's not, I'm so happy for that person. Like it's just really, and it's not a pity party here. Like, it's not like, this is so unfair. Like, it is fucking unfair. But it's not that I'm just always thinking about me and why am I doing this alone? I want to do this. This is my choice and I can't wait to do this. And I'm very aware I'm doing it on my own. My grief is for Chump mainly. Like, he's missing out on being the dad. Like, it's hard for me to see dads with their babies knowing how good he would have been, and he's missing out. Like, it's more, my grief is for him, not for me. I'm not a pity party here. It's that I can't. It's really hard to swallow the fact that he's missing this. He deserves this time. He wanted this, and he would have been the best dad. But yeah, like think about like the birthdays, the first birthdays, all the little milestones, like the first word and the first steps, and like everything that I guess I'll just be like wanting to call him and talk to him, and he'll just be missing those things, but he won't be missing those things because he's going to be there. But it's just like, I know I'm embarking on this crazy fucking journey, and it's just going to be the happiness and the joy around this baby. Like, I'm saving my own life. I'm saving Chumpy's life in a sense that I'm bringing part of him back. And then I guess saving this child's life, because I'm going to give this baby the best life in the world, and I'm going to try and be the best mum in the entire world. So having this child and the joy that it's going to bring will always override any sort of pain and grief I'm feeling, but the two have to coexist. And I think it's going to be the most beautiful, crazy thing ever. And I talk about it. I just can't believe it's my life. Like, I feel like I'm telling you about a movie that I've seen or something. I can't believe this is me. But yeah, I mean, sorry. It's going to be.
I hate being on the other side of this fucking computer screen right now.
It's funny because it's until you start to unravel and talk about it out loud, like, yeah, the emotions just come up and you realize, like, wow, I'm embarking on something crazy, amazing, so beautiful, the best thing I'll ever do, what we were always going to do. And I have no doubts about what I'm doing is the best thing ever. I know that I know it's not going to be a walk in the park. I know it's going to be difficult, and I'm here for it. You're going to
dominate it. You're going to be the best mum ever.
And like, people must look at me and be like, wow, like, does she know what she's in for? Like, motherhood's fucked. It's hard. Rah, she's doing this alone. Like, I'm not here thinking it's rainbows and butterflies. I'm very aware of, what I'm embarking on.
Yeah, but it's also you're not really going to be alone. Like, you've got the baby, and you and the baby are going to be, that's your little team. Like, if the baby wasn't there, then you would be alone. Yeah. I know,
Exactly.
Chumpy, like, you feel him around, but like, it's essentially, like you said, saving your life too.
The worst thing that you could have ever imagined happen, like, the worst thing that I ever could have thought to happen in my entire life has happened. But the best thing has come of it. Do you know, like, there literally could not be a better thing to come out of this. Like, apart from Chumpy coming back and walking this world, earth, and standing foot right in front of me and be like, hey, I'm here. Can I have a hug? I love you. And being fucking right in front of my face. This is the next best thing that could possibly happen. And it's like the full circle of life is happening right before my eyes. Like, half of him is coming back. Half of me and half of him is inside my belly growing together right now. And yeah, it's like literally makes me so happy and warm and fuzzy. So emotional, but so overjoyed with this. I cannot wait to meet this Bubba.
Wow, we love you, Bubba Chump. You're going to be the most loved little baby in the community. I feel like, Elle, if you ever need babysitters, you're not going to have to go far, because every second person is going to be putting their hand up.
There will not be a shortage.
There'll be no shortage of babysitters, that's for sure. But that wraps up this week's episode. So next week we're actually going to talk about a hot topic that lots of people have been writing in, and I'm going to have to remember, but my wedding. So it's going to be a full episode on all wedding chat from top to bottom and all the details for the Fisher wedding.
And how to plan a wedding, and lots of tips if you've just been engaged and things like that.
Hopefully COVID leaves the country and the
all
world.
All of our friends
so
are currently cancelling their weddings, but
sucks.
Anyway,
but I'll try and give as many good tips as possible.
Awesome. All right, so we'll see you guys next week then.
Bye.
Bye.